Hello! Today we're going to talk about Homestead Comparison and my view of good, better, best when evaluating your progress. I'll give you some examples and tips to help you feel good about your own homestead projects and avoid the comparison trap. Let's get to it. Hey friends! Welcome to the Get Goatwise podcast. I'm Millie Bradshaw, animal scientist, cattle girl turned goat rancher, co-owner of Dry Creek Livestock, and simple living enthusiast. Here we'll talk about raising goats, chickens, and other homestead livestock, how to create sustainable animal management systems that actually work, and a bit of off-grid life with kids and livestock. If you're ready to take control of your food supply, raise livestock with confidence, and provide your family with the most nourishing meat, eggs, and dairy available, you're in the right place. Kick off your muck boots, pour a cup of coffee, and let's talk livestock. Have you ever looked at the homesteading accounts on Instagram and wondered, how do they do it all and make it look so easy? You know, those picture-perfect accounts with white picket fences, beautiful gardens, perfectly groomed animals, beautiful sourdough fresh out of the oven, and clean, shiny children in pioneer clothing. Instagram is curated, my friend, and comparing where you are to what people put on that platform is not doing you any good. Oh, I enjoy looking at those accounts while wondering what their real life looks like or how many people they employ to make things look that perfect. But I'd much rather look at the accounts that show it like it really is. Unfinished projects, mud season in its full glory, and kids doing chores and making messes. I've been at this rural living thing for a while. Long before homesteading became a buzzword, the definition changed and the popularity soared. In fact, I only became aware of the modern homesteading movement in the last 5 years. This has always been a way of life for us because it has to be when there's no such thing as a quick trip to the grocery store when there's at least an hour of travel involved. I've learned some fun things from the modern homesteaders, and I admire their tenacity, creativity, and ingenuity. But today I want to talk about comparison, especially on social media, and what I call the good, better, best of homesteading. It's not fair to compare where you are right now with someone that has 10 years experience. I was reminded in the last year that the ugly phase of homesteading is very real. We had been living in the same place in town on a couple of acres for 18 and a half years, and over time, we had changed it from very ugly to very nice. It happened so gradually that I didn't really notice what a huge change had happened in those 18 and a half years. We purchased our land outside of town a few years ago, and it was bare. It had no improvements, nothing at all. So the first thing we did was put in a water system, and then we started building a barn, and we put our house on the market. It took a while for our house to sell in a small town, but when it did, it happened fast, and all of our things and all of our animals moved over to our new place with no storage and nowhere to go with those things. So here we were back in the ugly phase. Now we're making progress. Are we still in the ugly phase? Yes. It's going to take a while, but we're okay with that. I believe that anything you are doing to get closer to the source of your food is good and an improvement over what you can get at the grocery store. The perceived correct way to homestead is made up of a little bit of facts and a lot of opinion. So today I want to talk about the good, better, best of homesteading. Let's start with an example. On Instagram, you see all the time with chicken feed. People are mixing up their own feed, they're fermenting it, they're doing all the things. And is it great? Yes. Is it feasible for a beginner? Probably not. So the good option is to grab your bag of commercial feed from the farm store and raise your own chickens. Your eggs are still going to be superior to anything you can get in the grocery store. When you're ready, you can move on to organic feed, or you can mix your own feed. And then later on, if you want to, you can ferment that feed. So you don't have to be perfect in the beginning. You work your way there. And you get to define what perfect or the best is for your family. At one point in time, I was mixing up all of our chicken feed. I was grinding the corn, mixing it by hand, and creating our own rations. But life happened. We got too busy. There were too many things going on. I went back to bag feed from the farm store to get us through that season. Will I go back to mixing my own feed? Probably. It's just not high on the priority list right now. Another area where there seems to be a lot of strong opinions is harvesting your own animals. Do you take them to a butcher? Do you do an on-farm butcher? Or do you do it yourself? And it seems that butchering your animals yourself is the best option. However, if you do not know what you're doing, butchering animals yourself is not your best option. We didn't start butchering our own animals until chickens about 5 years ago. I still take animals to the butcher, and it's okay. Of course, I'd like to do our own butchering, but we don't have the facilities, and that is not high on the priority list yet. Fencing. Sometimes you have to cobble it together with salvaged posts and wire, and as long as it's safe, that's good enough. You can always make it better later. Buildings. Sometimes it's a lean-to. Sometimes it's a lean-to made out of pallets. Does it give your animals shelter? Keep them comfortable? Good enough. You can always make it better later. How much of your own food are you raising? 20%? In the first year, that's not a bad goal. Ultimately, will you get to 100%? Probably not. There's things in your climate that you won't be able to raise. But if your goal is to get as close as you can to 100%, make incremental improvements every year until you get as close as you can. But the 20% for right now, that's good enough. We need to let go of the all or nothing attitude and understand that this is a serious phase of growth and learning. How do we handle this time of rapid growth and learning? We start with the master list of projects and dreams that we made in episode 2. Then work from the list. Each week, sit down and look at your schedule and find out when you can focus on a homestead project. Pick a specific high-priority project to work on, make sure you have what you need to do it, and then get to work. Slowly but surely, the unfinished projects will get finished. The things you had to cobble together to get by will get improved. Things will start coming together, and you will find peace in the progress. Next, seek wise counsel. Get your advice from people with experience. Choose mentors who have been doing this for more than a couple years. If what you need done is beyond your skill set and you don't have time to learn, hire it out. Be okay with where you are right now. Celebrate your wins. Set goals to get where you want to be. As long as your setup isn't dangerous or harmful to the animals you are raising, just keep on moving forward, one thing at a time, and eventually your good will evolve into your best, not someone else's definition of best. Hey there, thanks for listening today. I'm so glad you're here. If this episode helped you or encouraged you in some way, share the link with your homesteading friends. And if you really want to help me out, click on over to Apple Podcasts and leave a rating and a review. You can connect with me on Instagram or email, linked in the show notes. And meet me back here soon for more Get Goat Wise.